Okay, so now that we have something, let's re-examine the entire design. So we have navigation more or less defined in terms of what data attributes, what parameters it takes, and then perhaps we can say our pilot needs some sort of some sort of a running mode. I don't know, a run, which means do it, or let's say do it. Okay. All right. So now let's define our pilot class. Going back to the system. Perhaps I can go back to the project, say, reset this, say the package, new class name pilot, finish. And I already copied the set of the attributes, and here they are again, say constructors. And although my default constructors don't look very impressive so far, because they don't take any parameters, don't do anything interesting so far, I know these classes will need some more substantial work done by the constructors, so I'm already planning ahead and defining these constructors. Do it whatever that does. And emergency, void emergency, whatever that does. Again, we may add some method parameters in a few seconds. I'm just thinking about what we do overall. So these are operations of our class. I don't know if this is a good name, but we'll try this. So when we say operate, we can. By the way, this one definitely requires. How about this? Operate. I don't know. Just operate and the parameters aircraft. Right. So we want to operate the aircraft using the pilot class. Aircraft. Craft. Okay. Now this might be a void method for now to make compiler happy, and what it's going to do is going to say craft take off, right? Then we can say navigation for the sake of better name equals new navigation, and it takes some parameters to construct the navigation class, right? So if I say, all right, let's move this navigation to this side of things, right? Put this tab right there. Then I need to pass those three elements: altitude, speed, and the course. Let's say, again, I will try to keep it in view going to the next line. So this will be our altitude could be like 10,000 feet, right? Then comma the speed, I don't know, I really don't know, 25,000 knots. And then maybe the course will be north. How about that? Right, so we have that, and so we want to construct the new navigation object. Is it something that it's unhappy about? What is it that it's unhappy about? It's integer this, integer that. Okay. New navigation, and then I never compiled this, so I'm trying to make sure that everything does run okay. Now, if I want to say navigation dot fly, right? I have fly method, and so the NetBeans kind of already knows that there is only one instance of an aircraft in the scope, because when I say fly right here, the method is expecting to take an autopilot, and because the craft, which is an aircraft instance of an aircraft class, implements the interface named iAutopilot, the NetBeans figured it out and sort of like placed the method parameters for me automatically. Now it's interesting that I also need to tell, when I say fly, I need to pass to the method, I need to pass the second parameter, which represents the pilot class, right? So one more time, look at the diagram. We're here trying to implement something we called operate. So let me change this to say operate. Operate, and what operate method takes as a parameter is it takes craft colon aircraft in UML notation. Okay, that's fine. And we're trying to implement this operate method, and what we're doing here is that we want to take off right here, take off, and then we want to say fly, but for flying in autopilot mode, we have to construct the navigation class. We just did this. We just got the navigation constructed, and then we pass the instance of the craft, but we also need to give the fly method right here the instance of the pilot. And this is being ourselves, because operate is already invoked on the pilot. So when we're invoking the fly method, what we're doing here is that we're passing ourselves as a parameter. So basically, when you go to, let me try this real quick to demonstrate one more time. What happens is that we have an instance of our class. This is pilot, okay, in memory. It has like a reference to, and so this is pilot. And we also have an instance of an aircraft someplace, and it's another object right here. So we the pilot operate method takes reference to the aircraft. We actually could use this as another parameter for our constructor, but let's keep it simple for now. So the pilot knows about the existence of the aircraft in memory, because this particular method takes it as a parameter, a reference to the aircraft as a parameter. But also we have this navigation object someplace in memory, right? So this is the navigation, and the pilot tries to talk to the navigation. So it needs to provide to the navigation two things. First thing is an interface pointer or reference to the aircraft through an autopilot interface, right? So this is like an autopilot interface. But also it needs basically a pointer to the pilot method, so that in case of an emergency, the navigation can talk to the pilot. Okay, so in this case, what happens is that when we call the navigation, we basically pass those two things, craft, and then we pass this, because this is like, when we say this, on any object, every object has the this reference. This pointer is pointing to the object itself. Every object has this reference, which refers to the object itself. Okay, and so is the navigation. Also has this. When you call its methods, they always have access to the location of themselves in memory. Each object, it's just by design. Each method that we call on the object has access to the location of the object in memory and its self-reference. And there is a keyword reserved for this. It's called this. So when we say this, we're inside the pilot class. This points to an instance of an object in memory, to an instance of the pilot class in memory.